Buffs Nation, welcome. It's game day, y'all. I am so excited, man. I don't know. I got my hands rubbing together, man, for this live session. It's a very special day. The Buffs are playing today. It is the 50th episode. And guess what? The Common Sense Buffs family have been wilding out in these YouTube streets, running the numbers up with the subs, running the numbers up with the likes, running the numbers up with the engagement in the comment section, making sure that you're having your voices be heard. So I really appreciate you. We wouldn't be at 50 videos. We wouldn't be at 300 plus subscriptions if it wasn't for you guys. So big shout out to you. Excited to have you here on this very special live session. This is something I might start doing on a more regular basis. Let me know if you like the idea behind it. But this is the countdown show. So it's going to be a live show right before the games. I'm going to commit to doing that on a regular basis so that we can get together before the game, talk about all things Colorado Buffaloes in the Coach Prime era. So it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without some dope content to react to. Today, the Buffs are on the road. They're going to be playing in Arrowhead Stadium as they take on the red hot Kansas Jayhawks, coming off of two top 25 wins against Iowa State and against BYU. Guys, this is a big game. It's been said once, it's been said twice, it's been said many times that the Buffaloes are in control of their own destiny at 8-2 and number 16 in the nation. They have an opportunity to go to the Big 12 championship if they just win out, and standing in their way this week are the Kansas Jayhawks. So we're going to get into the matchups that I'm watching across the field. But first, we got to do some housekeeping, all right? So if you guys are out there in YouTube land and you're joining us, to all our day one subscribers and everyone who has joined along the way, I appreciate you more than you know. If you're new here, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share the video to help keep us growing. Like I said, we just broke 300 subscribers in 50 videos, y'all. That's pretty good, and I appreciate that. And that's some feedback that you're liking the content. So let's get to over 500 subs, man. We could do it with this video. We got to 350 videos. Let's see if we can get to 501. But for now, let's dive into today's show. So before I get into the matchup that's coming on later on today, and you guys get active in the chat, man. I'm the DJ, but you guys are the party goers. So if you're the party goers and you want to hear your favorite song, right, go ahead and come up to the DJ booth, man. Whisper it in my ear. I'm going to play it for you. So in the comment section, that's like your request section. So please let me know what you want me to touch on, what you want me to talk about, what you're most excited about in this matchup or in the news and things happening in Boulder. All right. So I appreciate each and every one of you that's here. But the first thing I want to talk about before I get into the game is recruiting at Colorado. The last video I dropped talked about some of the big recruits that have either committed or are highly touted and being targeted by the Colorado Buffaloes football program and Coach Prime. But the big news this week in recruiting is Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes have landed Julian "JuJu" Lewis, who committed this week to this program. He is the number 2 player in the country. Let me ask you this. Do you believe that JuJu Lewis is the biggest high school recruit that Coach Prime has ever landed? I mean, it's only been 2 years. Maybe it's a JuJu versus Travis. You know, he landed Travis and took him to Jackson State. Now he's over at Colorado. But I'm only talking about his time so far in Colorado. Is Julian "JuJu" Lewis the number 2 player in the country, the number 2 quarterback in the country? Is this the biggest recruit that Coach Prime has ever landed? Go ahead and have that debate in the comments. I'm going to be watching the comment section to make sure I'm locked in and hearing what you guys are thinking about. But I think this is a big addition to the team. I mean, that's the track record of Prime, right? When people are doubting him, saying that, you know, the way he's doing things, he isn't going enough into high school. His approach to high school recruiting is terrible. It's never going to work, that he doesn't do home visits. And here he is landing the number 2 player in the country. Now, just for reference, and I don't have, you know what? Let me not just be out here talking, right? That's what Google is for. Just for reference, The number one player in the country is another quarterback, Bryce Underwood. The kid is in Michigan. He's like the number one player in the state, highly touted. I think he was committed to LSU. Let's look at Bryce Underwood real quick. He was committed to LSU, but Michigan flipped him this week as well. The number one player commits to Michigan, and the bigger news, right? And this is the prime effect, of course, that the number two player committed to Colorado, and that was bigger news than the number one player flipping from LSU to Michigan. And I understand there was a lot of money on the table to make that happen. I'm not saying that Julian JuJu Lewis didn't get a big deal. I mean, this is the youngest player to ever be on Sports Illustrated's cover, and I think it was a cover that had to do with NIL in the era of NIL and him being the face of NIL. But let me see if I could pull this up. Do you think it's helpful if we have some visuals here as I talk us through some of this information? So let's look at Bryce Underwood. Number one player in the country flips to Michigan. I think he may have, rumor is that he may have a $10 million NIL deal as a high school senior just graduating. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and get that. But what do you guys think about JuJu Lewis in this recruitment to the Buffaloes program? Yeah, Bryce Underwood. I think they needed to get like Tom Brady involved to get him to shift his commitment. But now he's going to be a Michigan Wolverine. Let's see what I can find on Bryce Underwood. And I think if it wasn't from a frame standpoint, so I think Bryce is like 6'3", 6'4". Julian Lewis is maybe 5'11", but they have him listed as 6 foot, being ultra generous, right? You know how those height things are. If JuJu and Bryce had the same frame, you could easily flip that number one and number two in terms of the intangibles, because JuJu is an excellent quarterback. So I'm gonna go here to this article. It's called "How Michigan Landed 5-Star QB Bryce Underwood." All right, so we land the number two player. Michigan lands the number one player. Let's see how they did it. So how Michigan landed 5-star quarterback Bryce Underwood. This is dated for November the 22nd, 2024. So this is hot off the presses as of last night. It says 4 days before the January 10th national championship between Michigan and Washington, the country's top recruit, Belleville 5-star quarterback Bryce Underwood, committed to LSU in a ceremony at his high school located just 18 miles from Michigan Stadium. Can you imagine? LSU had the gall to go up in Michigan and try to snatch the number one player in the country right under the Wolverines' nose. I guess I got to be subscribed to this. It says Underwood's announcement marked the third straight recruiting cycle where a high-profile quarterback recruit in Michigan would be leaving the state to play college football, joining Detroit's Martin Luther King's Dante Moore in 2023, who signed with LSU and then transferred to Oregon, and Saline C.J. Carr in 2024. All right, well, I can't read the entire article. It would have been interesting to be able to read that, but I have to subscribe to that. But basically, they landed the number one player. And the point I'm trying to make about this is that even though they landed the number one player, the number two player, JuJu Lewis, and our acquisition of that player was bigger news than the number one player. So that is the prime effect. What I want to do for all of you who may not be familiar with who JuJu Lewis is and why this is such a big get for the Colorado Buffaloes program, is we know Shedeur is a senior. We know he's going to be entering the draft. There's no doubt about that. He's not coming back. And so in JuJu Lewis, what Prime has is the heir apparent to Shedeur Sanders. Now, this idea of freshman quarterbacks starting in their first season in a college football program, that really is unheard of. There have been players in the past, and there's one player right now, Dylan Raiola, who the Colorado Buffaloes played early in the season, who's a starting freshman, got off to a hot start early in the season. I think he's kind of cooled off, but hey, those are the growing pains of being a freshman quarterback. Traditionally, you would not expect to put the hands of the future of your program in the hands of a freshman quarterback, but this kid is different. He's been starting since he was a freshman in high school, and he's a 3-time Georgia 6A player of the year. So this guy has been balling out since he was a freshman, and he was the best player in his state from his sophomore season through his senior year. So Julian Lewis to Colorado. Let's look at his 247 Sports profile and see what this kid is all about and see what his scouting report looks like. He is out of Carrollton, Georgia. High school is Carrollton High School. He's in the class of 2025. My understanding is that he's going to be in Boulder early. So he's going to graduate early this fall, and he's going to be in Boulder in the winter. So right now, 247 Sports has him as a 4-star. On other board, again, this is bizarre because I thought that Julian Lewis was a 5-star QB. Now, if you guys are out there watching this, did you think he was a 5-star QB? Because I don't want to get conspiratorial here, but it feels like every time a player commits to the Buffaloes program, they lose a star. And the more that happens, the less conspiratorial it is. It seems like self-evident if this pattern continues that there might be a real problem here with these recruiting websites. But you guys let me know in the chat. So let me go ahead and share this. Hopefully it's cool for me to share websites like this. This is 247's web. And sometimes because they have videos and ads, there might be an interruption in the live stream. So if there's an interruption in the live stream, please let me know in the chat, and I might need to close this window. All right, so we're looking at Julian Lewis. Like I said, he's 6'1.5". I think that's being a little bit generous. He's 185 pounds. 247 Sports has him as a 4-star, the 115th player nationally. Thought he was number 2 in the country. Am I confused about something? The number 9 QB in the country, and then the number 14th player in Georgia. I don't get how he's number 14 after he's been named the player of the year 3 years in a row, but whatever. 247 composite. So this is taking his rating from all the major recruiting websites and doing an aggregate of it. That puts him at the 36th best player in the country, the number 6 QB, and the 6th player in Georgia. Of course, he's 100% crystal ball to Colorado. He is a hard commit as of November the 21st, 2024. He was committed and decommitted from USC, but he was highly sought after by programs like Auburn, Indiana, and Alabama. And he had a late visit that had me a little bit concerned to Georgia. I know Georgia was in the hunt as well. I don't know if he just went out there to see a good football game when Georgia played Tennessee or not, or if they were making a late run at JuJu Lewis. All right, so let's go to his scouting report. This is by Andrew Ivins, Director of Scouting over at 247 Sports. Big shout out to you, Andrew. And Andrew has him reminding us of Bryce Young, who now plays for the Carolina Panthers. I think he was the first overall pick to the Carolina Panthers, but that is high praise coming out of high school. So here it is. Quarterback protege that exits high school with over 10,000 career passing yards despite reclassifying and foregoing his senior season. So he's a junior that's graduating early. So the kid has 10,000 passing yards in 3 seasons. Like I said, he started off his career as a freshman starting quarterback. I think he had over 4,000 yards in his freshman season in the biggest classification in Georgia. So he's playing other dogs. It's not like he has a patty cake schedule where he's just padding his stats in order to get the numbers up. He's playing against good players and good teams and good coaches. It says lacks elite physical traits. And this is what I was talking about, his comparison to Bryce Underwood. If he had Bryce's frame, I think JuJu Lewis would be the number 1 QB in the country. It says he lacks elite physical traits, but is an elite distributor of the football with his quick release and advanced mechanics that picked apart defenses in the Peach State's highest classification. So I like a couple of things here in this sentence about an elite distributor of the ball. If you watch his highlights, you'll notice that he looks for the open man, kind of like Shedeur Sanders. He's not looking for a name on a jersey or a jersey number. He's looking for what the defense gives him, and he's going to throw the ball to that person. And he had a great set of wide receivers on his team. I mean, he found them. He gave them balls that were easy to catch, and they made the plays when there were opportunities to make plays. His ball placement is absolutely spot on. He does have a quick release, and he is a quick decision maker. So once he makes a decision, he gets the ball out. And I got the Ohio State and Indiana game going over here, just keeping my eye on it. So I might be bringing you guys some score updates as well. Looks like SMU is up on Virginia. The Ohio State-Indiana game right now is at halftime. I think the Buckeyes lead 14-7, but Indiana is making some plays. So I'll keep you up to date on some of those big games. A lot of this in terms of Colorado getting to the playoffs is going to be about some teams ahead of them getting upset this week. So I'm on upset watch as well. All right, so let's keep going on JuJu Lewis. And if I'm missing anything in the chat, go ahead and put your questions, concerns, what you want me to talk about on this live in the chat as well. So it says frequently in sync and in tune with his wide receivers as he excels at throwing with pace and precision to the first and second levels. Yeah, he can hit passes, backs out of the backfield, crossing routes, and he can take the ball deep. He has continued to progress as a full field reader over the years. And what I love is when he's throwing the ball downfield, he's able to attack the corners and place the ball where only the wide receiver can get to it. I love it. All right, look, so I'm watching Fox over here, and they have Travis warming up in Arrowhead Stadium. Y'all, the countdown is official. We're about an hour and 39 minutes away from kickoff, as Travis and Shedeur are going to be playing in an NFL stadium like they will be on Sundays. This is a big game. This is what you are a fan of football for, to see these games be played and destinies be unveiled right in front of your eyes. So I'm very excited for today. So he continues to develop as a full field reader over the years and is the type of young signal caller that will work through his keys and reads while looking off defenders. Can sense pressure and slip away from the sacks. That's another thing that you see on his game film, is his ability to extend plays, right? So when he senses the rush is coming, he's able to use his feet. He has great feet. He's able to move the pocket. He's able to get out of the pocket when necessary, but he always has his eyes up, looking downfield and looking to make a play. So that's basically what it says. Can sense pressure and slip away from sacks, but shouldn't exactly be viewed as a dynamic athlete that's going to amplify a run game. I certainly don't think that's the brand he wants to build. I think he wants to build himself as a pure pocket passer that can extend plays. You could see that from his highlights. He's showing off his arm, right? He's not showing his escapability. He's showing his escapability to be able to continue to extend the play and throw the ball downfield. All right, so it says capable of connecting on some deep shots, but prep spray chart is painted with horizontal tosses, and camp evaluations suggest he could keep improving as a vertical passer. So getting the ball for those big home run plays down the field. Overall, projects as a new age point guard that can push the tempo in a modern spread attack with pinpoint accuracy and savvy decision-making. What I love about him as well is his decision-making. When he lets that ball go, you know who he's throwing the ball to, right? It's not like, oh, wait, I ran out of options, I'm just going to throw it up and pray. You know that he read the defense. He's looking for the person that the defense gave him as the best choice. He's always throwing the ball to the best choice. And one of the things that I've noticed about the Indiana quarterback and why Indiana is playing so well is that he makes great decisions. He's getting the ball out on time, and he's always finding the best guy for where the ball needs to go. So even though they're down right now, it's because of Ohio State's ability to get to the quarterback. It's not because he's making mistakes or choosing the wrong routes. There's great play calling on both sides of the ball, but Colorado and that pressure is really getting to Indiana. So I love to see what he's able to do in terms of make a quick decision, but pick the ball and pick where the ball needs to go based on what the defense is giving him. Let's see. Can push the tempo in a modern spread attack with pinpoint accuracy and savvy decision making. Smaller stature is not ideal. Again, they're looking at those his stature, and that's probably why they subtracted a star from him, honestly. But we'll see. Smaller stature is not ideal, but has the skills and confidence to win games on Saturday and potentially right away. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Colorado's quarterback room after Shedeur. So I know we have Ryan Staub. Let's look at this depth chart real quick. I hope you guys are loving the analysis. I hope you guys are loving the fact that I'm going deep, doing some news before I break into today's game. And as you guys can see from the thumbnail, it's all about applying pressure. We're applying major pressure in these YouTube streets, man. Y'all are going crazy right now with the engagement, with the subs, and with the likes, and I appreciate that, all right? I'm going to keep making this dope content for you. And I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to make some investments in the studio as well. Keep upgrading the content. Again, like Prime, why do anything if you're not going to do it to the best of your ability? So you should see this show evolve, get better. Maybe I might bring in some guests. So we're going to work this thing out. So let's look at the depth chart, right? Because it's one thing to go out and get a freshman quarterback, even though he's a 5-star, highly touted. It's another thing to give him an opportunity to compete, which is what he said when he was on the Pat McAfee show, and he announced his decision to go to Colorado, was that what Prime told him was not you're going to come in and start, but that you're going to come in and compete. Let's see. Where is my quarterback room? So we know we have Ryan Staub in that room. We have Destin Wade in that room. We have Walter Taylor in that room. And we have Ponder in that room. Now, I think earlier, before the season started, or like in the first 2 or 3 games, Ponder was the name on everybody's lips. It looks like he's going through his process of development. I haven't really heard much from him. I'm guessing if Shedeur needs to, if this game it turns into a blowout, and Shedeur takes a seat, it's going to be Ryan Staub that's his replacement. But he's going to be in that room competing with those guys. And I think that's going to make him even better. I would not be shocked, though. And what do you guys think about this? Do you think Prime goes into the portal and gets another quarterback? Or do you think that might be problematic? You guys let me know in the chat. Does Prime go out and get another more experienced quarterback to add to this quarterback room, or do you think he's satisfied with what he has right now and the addition of JuJu? Is that the environment of competition that's going to push JuJu to be the best player that he can be? For some reason, I'm looking at the Colorado Buffaloes website, and it's not sorting by position. It's still sorting by player, by name. So I'm not going to worry about that. But I think I got the names of everybody in that QB room. So it's Staub, I think, is QB2. Ponder is QB3. Destin Wade is QB4. And Walter Taylor might be QB5. And then if you add Julian Lewis, you're going to be up to 5 quarterbacks after Shedeur leaves. So that's a pretty loaded room. I'm guessing all those guys are on scholarship. So maybe that's where we're going to stay with it. But if you guys think that Prime might bring somebody in to really push JuJu to his best and see if he really can win out in that wide receiver room and start next year, you guys let me know in the comments. All right. So I'm loving it. I absolutely love it. And one of the other things I love about this acquisition is that it might mean, or it might be the crack in the dam that breaks for other high school recruits who see that a player like JuJu Lewis is deciding to go to Boulder. It might make it a little bit more of a palatable decision if there are other players out there who are on the fence, but seeing a big-time player like JuJu Lewis make that decision to go to Colorado. All right, so JuJu plans to enroll early. Like I said, he will be in Boulder in the winter or maybe early spring of 2025. And he's absolutely special. Like I said, the numbers don't lie. He's a 3-time Georgia 6A Player of the Year. He's a born winner. And that's another thing. At quarterback, you could be good, but there's a difference. There's an echelon of quarterbacks that you enter into when you're not only talented, work hard, but if you're a winner. And I know Prime loves winners. And this kid is coming in not just to play, but to win. And that's the tradition that Prime is building in Colorado. He has all the tools. He has the accuracy, he has the ball placement, he has the pocket presence, and the ability to extend plays and quick decision making. He's playing like a seasoned quarterback already. And like I said, the dam might be breaking. Don't be surprised if you see a flood of four-star recruits flipping their commitments to join him in Boulder, particularly on the offensive line. Watch out, IMG. We might see a IMG train to Boulder starting to pick up steam. So as always, I will keep you updated on all the recruiting news. But for now, let's celebrate this massive win. And let's get into this game. All right, let me check the comments real quick. I don't know if I'm doing this live right. I don't see very many comments down there, but big shout out to Sports Review Now. Keep pushing, keep growing. I appreciate you for helping to push me and keep growing with me. Thank you so much for being here. I know these YouTube streets are stacked, man. You got channels like TLP Sports Club. Big shout out to Harry B, my mentor out there who encouraged me to get started and continues to support me as I make my YouTube journey. You got channels like Well Off Media. You got Reach the People. You got Life and Liberty. You got Colin's channel. You got David Talks Buffs. But you guys are choosing to be here with me on your Saturday. So first off, man, let me just bless you right now. Let me just, hope for you that you're in good health, right? That you have your goals and that you're working towards them, that your family is healthy, that you are blessed, man. It means a lot to me that you're taking your time to be here to chop it up with me, man. And I just want to send out blessings to you. Thank you so much. All right, let's switch gears and talk about today's game. Colorado versus Kansas at Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this one's got to be a star-studded movie, man. It's a movie and it's written all over it. I know the Chiefs are going to be in the building. I know the NFL is going to be in the building. I know any and everybody who can get to Kansas is going to be in Kansas today because, like I said, the 8-2 Buffaloes are in control of their destiny, and what stands in their way is the Kansas Jayhawks. All right, so I'm going to give you my prediction at the end of my analysis, but I want to hear from you. What is your score prediction of this game? What do you think the score is going to be? All right, quick programming break. I'm monitoring the Ohio State-Indiana game, and it looks like Ohio State is now up 20-7. I caught it out of the corner of my eye. It looks like this is a defensive touchdown by the Buckeyes. Oh no, it's a punt return. Caleb Downs, oh my God, he returns it to the house off of a single bounce. So special teams touchdown by the Buckeyes. It is now 20-7. I'm sure they're going to get the PAT to go 21-7. Uh-oh, Indiana. You do not want to go down by 3 scores in the Horseshoe because that place is loud. If you've never been to Columbus, Ohio, and you've never been to a Buckeye game, you know it gets insane if you've ever been to the Horseshoe. So I know it is absolutely crazy at that stadium right now. Signetti, arms folded, face looking like he's in for a fight. Ryan Day is already celebrating. So the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes are currently up by 2 touchdowns over the number 5 Indiana Hoosiers. There's still a lot of time in that game, but hey, it's going down in college football today. All right, y'all. So do we have any score predictions down in the chat? None yet. I am looking forward to hearing from you. All right, let's get busy. What am I watching in this game? I'm watching matchups. And first, let's start with the QB matchup. I'll take Shedeur Sanders any day over their guy, Jalen Daniels. Shedeur, to me, is the best quarterback in college football. He's accurate. He's smart. He makes great choices. And he played, in my personal opinion, I mean, you guys can roast me in the chat and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think that was his worst game last game. Right? And he still threw for what? Over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns or something ridiculous like that. Let's look at his numbers from the last game. Colorado versus Utah. And I don't know if it's like a part of the problem is that they're playing at home, so the offense really doesn't get up for teams when they're at home. But let me pull up these stats. But I felt like that wasn't his best game, and I think he even admitted it. So if you guys are roasting me on this, that's up to you. But Shedeur himself said he didn't play his best game this game. So let's look at the stats. We are going to go to the official Colorado Buffaloes page. Big shout out to the CU Buffs in that page for giving us some great content. But currently looking at that page, let's see what we got. Okay, that's the menu. All right, so final score of that game was 49-24 over the currently 4-6 Utah Utes, and it was a dominating performance, but it wasn't because the offense played their best football. They got going later on in the game, but I think even for Shedeur, he said that he didn't play his best game. All right, so we're going to go to the individual statistics here. So look at this. I'm saying that Shedeur Sanders did not play his best game. But if you look at the stat line, you can't tell. So he was 30 of 41 for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, the lone interception coming on the first play of the game. And I think because he's playing in this game with that chip on his shoulder, Kansas and their defense are in for a long day. I expect Shedeur is going to put up similar numbers to this today, but it's going to be in a way that is where the offense is playing at their best, right? A complementary offensive performance with Shedeur doing what he does here, but also with a running game to boot. I'm going to get into the running back game in that matchup. So Shedeur right now, I'm going to take him over Jalen Daniels for all the reasons that I've already stated. But you know, it's one thing to kind of just talk about your guy. Let's go and see what Jalen's season has looked like and why I think our defense, being as turnover hungry as they are, might benefit from the kind of season or the tendencies that Jalen Daniels has. So let's see what he is. Let's see his stats right here, regular season. So this is from ESPN.com. Jalen Daniels, Kansas Jayhawks quarterback, 2024 regular season stats. He has 1,900 yards and 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And that's part of the reason why the Kansas Jayhawks are currently, are they 4-6 right now? I'm going to double. Yeah, they're 4-6 right now. And it's because of this turnover number here. He tends to not protect the ball, whether he's throwing an interception or he fumbles the ball. But I think that is an advantage of ours in this QB battle that I think if anybody's going to lead the turnover battle is going to be Jalen Daniels, especially if we can get some defensive pressure to him. And we can step on this run game, and we're going to talk about that next, which is what I'm concerned about the most. Now, although he's turnover prone, the problem that I think he's going to present for us is that he's a dual threat quarterback. He can run the ball as well. And we're going to look at his running statistics here in just a moment. But these are his past statistics. So if we could force Jalen Daniels to beat us with his arm and his tendency to turn the ball over, I think it's going to be a good day for Rob Livingston and this defense. All right, so let's go here. Where are his rushing statistics? And that was something that we struggled with early in the season, but we've seen other dual threat quarterbacks. I think it started with NDSU and their quarterback and how effective he was able to run the ball. We've kind of shored that up. We faced KJ Jefferson over at UCF. We put the clamps on him. I think Noah Fafita, even though he wasn't known in Arizona to run the ball, I don't think he even had a chance to run the ball against that defensive front. So rushing 2024, it looks like he's had 82 carries, so they will run the ball with him. If you're averaging that per game, they've played 10 games so far. He's probably averaging 8 carries a game for 338 yards, and he has 6 TDs. So he's a problem when he gets into the open field. He has the ability to score running the ball. So we also have to be mindful that we just can't worry about the running game from the running back. He is a dual threat quarterback, and we need to put the clamps on him. But overall, I like our matchup at quarterback. I think Shedeur Sanders in this head-to-head matchup with Jalen Daniels is going to come out as the winner. We're going to talk about the score in just a second. So go ahead and put your thoughts in the chat, man. I appreciate you guys being here, man. The live is lit. We are officially now less than an hour away from kickoff. I'm loving it. I know Arrowhead Stadium is getting packed right now, and it's going to be a crazy game. Cannot wait for it. All right, so let's switch over to the running game, which is where I think Kansas has an advantage. One, because they have a dual threat quarterback and running back combination, and their running back, I think his name is Devin Neal, is really good. He was one of those guys when the Big 12 was mentioned at the start of the season as being one of the conferences with the best running back group. He was one of those names that was mentioned. Kansas was highly touted coming into this game. They were expected to be in the running to win the Big 12, but oh, how things have changed. I think originally it was supposed to be Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State battling for the championship. Early season, it was BYU was a shoe-in and Iowa State was a shoe-in. Both those teams have had losses, which is why Colorado is now in play. And oh boy, watch out for Arizona State, who's also 8-2. Listen, depending on what happens today, and even if Colorado wins out, which I expect that they will, no doubt about that. But if Arizona State wins out and BYU slips up in one of these games, we could see 2 second-year coaches in Dillingham and Coach Prime with Arizona State and Colorado in that Big 12 championship. It is not far-fetched to think that at this point. Arizona State is starting to play their best football. They're peaking at the right time, and they have weapons all over the field, including their quarterback who has been playing lights out. Listen, guys, if for some reason the live goes blank, just let me know in the chat, because sometimes when you're sharing the screen and there's copyrighted videos or an ad playing, it will copyright strike it and turn the live off. So just let me know in the chat if I lose you guys for some reason or the other. All right, so let's go to the Kansas Jayhawks running game. Let's see. I think we can still get it from here. Let's switch player statistics to running back. And I really want to highlight Devin Neal here. So this is the guy, much like DJ Giddens when we played Kansas State, that we cannot allow to beat us. We cannot let the rushing attack of Kansas be the reason why this is a close game. We need to treat them like the defense has been treating running games up until now, which is absolutely shutting them down. I think that the running game got away from us when we played KSU, but since then, this running defense has been playing much better. But here's the guy to watch on Kansas's side of the ball. Devin Neal, he's a senior, 5'11", 215 pounds. So he's a load, right? He's stocky. He's not a big back, but he's not short either. And he's 215 pounds. And what they love to do with him is run him between the center and the guard. They will occasionally run, between the guard and the tackle or outside of the tackle, but most of the time they're running right up the gut. And so with the way Amari McNeil has been playing, the way that Chidozie Nwankwo has been playing the entire season, and the way that their backups, Anquin Barnes and Tawfiq Thomas, and the rest of that D-line has been playing, the interior D-line, I think we're matching up well against a team that likes to run right up the gut. But so far this season, Devin Neal has 162 carries, so they will give him the ball, 926 yards, 12 touchdowns, and he's averaging 5.7 yards a carry. Again, he's a guy that is hard to bring down. Do not let Kansas's record fool you. This is a team that's starting to play better at the right time, and they're trying to get to a bowl game. So they're 4-6. They need 2 wins. I think they have 2 more games left, and Colorado is one of them. So a way of redeeming their season is, one, to play spoiler for every team who has the potential to either go to the conference championship or the Big 12 title game. They can play spoiler, and if they win the next 2 games, they still get to go to a bowl game, even though they had a horrible start to their season. So they're hungry. They're licking their chops and they want to play in this game. And this is what Rob Livingston and the rest of the defensive coaches have to scheme for. This guy. We can't let this guy beat us. We need to put the ball in the hands of Jalen Daniels and have him throw the ball against our secondary, which I think we have the advantage there. All right. But let's switch over to our side of the ball on the running back side. Now, even though I give the edge in the running game to the Kansas Jayhawks, there are two guys on our team, and I hope, right? Not hope, because Prime every week continues to stress this, and I think Pat Shurmur knows he needs to do this in order for Shedeur to have a great game, because in the games that Shedeur plays lights out, he has a lot of help from the Colorado Buffaloes rushing attack. So here we go. All right, we're an hour and 15 minutes away from kickoff in Arrowhead Stadium, which is going to be absolutely crazy. Okay, fantastic catch by Jeremiah Smith in this Ohio State game. That boy is a baller. All right, but let's look at our rushing game. And my favorite running back right now in this room is Isaiah Augustov. 6'2". This is my style running back, right? Big but runs low. 210 pounds out of Naples, Florida. Right now, he has 80 carries for 362 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. What I liked best, even though our running game was non-existent last game, was that Isaiah Augustov broke a 37-yard run for a touchdown. Even though this is not the kind of run game I envisioned for the Buffaloes, it is still a run game that represents a threat to our opponents if we use it early and often. Imagine being a boxer. Thank you for that break. Go ahead and hit that like button while I took a drink right there. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and hit that share button. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what's going on in the chat, live chat. Oh, I was just looking at top chat. Okay, I guess there's multiple different ones. All right, so I got the live chat going. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know what's on your mind, what you want me to talk about. If you think I'm off, I'm wrong about something, go ahead and let me know. Wild Dog. Oh, all right. Hold up. I got to give a big shout out to Wild Dog. When I started getting on YouTube and commenting about Colorado Buffaloes football, Wild Dog was there from day one on TLP Sports Club. Wild Dog, welcome, man. I appreciate you in the chat. I know you have strong opinions about this team and about all things Colorado Buffalo. So please give us your thoughts in the chat. Somebody got to open the dance floor, man. You know, like when you're at a party and you pull up to the party and the DJ's doing this thing, but everybody's on the wall, everybody's just bopping, doing a little bop like this. But then my man Wild Dog is going to go out there on the floor and start breaking it down. He's going to pull out all the moves he's got, the robot, the sprinkler or whatever to get the party started. So I appreciate you, Wild Dog. Big shout out to Harry B and TLP Sports Club. I might hop on there, and do some live commentary of the game as Harry B usually does on game day. All right, so we're talking about this run game. I'm really liking Isaiah. I'd love to see him have 90-plus games or maybe even break a 100-yard game this week. But I think the guy that we haven't seen as much as I thought we would see him early in the season is my guy, Micah Welsh. Micah has been hurt, and he returns this game. And he's one of those recruits. And you can't talk about this current team without talking about the future as well. That's one of those 3-star guys that has the work ethic that Prime loves to see, which is why he makes the statements, stars don't matter. Michael Welsh is the epitome of stars don't matter. Not saying you should sleep on 3 stars, but I know the 4 and 5 stars get all the love, right? They get all the attention. When you land a 4-star or a 5-star, that's a big deal. When you land a 3-star, it's not a big deal. And a similar 3-star that I'm very excited about in that linebacker room that's coming next year, I think the kid's name is Montrez Walker. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat that Montrez Walker is a 3-star to watch in that linebacker room. All right. But Michael Welsh, look, This is that bowling ball running back that you love to see, that has both great vision, great feet, hard worker, the ability to run the ball up the gut. And what I love most about him is the ability to bounce that thing around the corner and get big yards. So far this year, he has 24 carries, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is a guy you could use in the red zone. He's averaging 5 yards per carry out of Milledgeville, Georgia. So we're going to see the return of Michael Welsh. Of course, Dallin Hayden is in that running back room as well. But I think the bulk of the carries this game are probably going to go to Isaiah and Micah, especially if Micah breaks some early runs. We really need to feed this guy. We need to punch this defense with nothing but body blows. And oh yeah, reminds me, if you're a boxer, and then I saw Wild Dog's comment, if you're a boxer and you're nice with it, yeah, you want to knock your opponent out. So you're going to throw headshots. But really, boxing is a sweet science, just like football is a sweet science. Yeah, baseball is a sweet science. Yeah, you want to hit home runs all the time, but you need those singles, those doubles, those triples to make plays and put you in the position to score. What the run game does for Colorado, it's those singles and doubles, it's those body blows that eventually wear down your opponent so that you could go for the knockout, because they're not going to have the legs. You need to take your opponent's legs from out under them, right? Not just test their chin. You need to wear them down. You need to take the fight out of them, and then you could really beat them up and show them what you can do. So I would love to see Colorado take the legs out from under Kansas by using this running game today. So let me know who you think gets the bulk of the carries this game. Is it going to be Isaiah? Is it going to be Micah? Is it going to be Dallin Hayden? What do you think is going to happen? Let me check the chat real quick. I appreciate all of you guys being here. You're spending your Saturday with me, man. Somebody tell me in the chat what their snack game, their game time tailgate is looking like at the crib or at the game right now. Who has the most lit snacks, man? What do you have going on? I don't have no snacks. I got water and coffee. I'm going to need to go ahead and step my snack game up before the game starts. All right, so big shout out to B-Dub, you will. BW will. All right, I hope I got that right. He got the fire emojis in the chat. Wild Dog says, CU has to be dominant or risk becoming a whisper. What does that mean? I think I know what it means. And if I was to interpret that, I would say these are tune-up games, or at least they should be. Now, which is why some of these games are called trap games, right? You could take them for granted. But I think what Wild Dog might be saying here is that they need to be dominant, because it only gets harder from here. These are the last 2 games I think Colorado might have the edge, the clear edge. Coming up in the Big 12 championship, they don't know who they're going to get, but they're certainly not going to get Kansas, and they're not going to get Oklahoma State. They're going to get a much better team. The same thing if and when they win the championship, when they go to the playoffs, they're going to be getting good teams. So they have to dominate here, or the questions are still going to persist as to whether or not they can play against the best of the best teams in college football. Wild Dog also says CU needs 40-plus points, win or lose. Listen, man, this team has the potential to put up 40 points on any and everybody. Let's look at team stats. All right, give me 1 second. I appreciate all you guys for being here. Let's look at team statistics, and I'm trying to find average points per game. How many people out there know how many points per game the Buffaloes are averaging right now? All right, man, I love Google. You don't have to lie. You don't have to make stuff up. You can just research it. So let's look at the team statistics. To your point, Wild Dog, right now Colorado is averaging 34.1 points. So they'd need to score another 6 points to hit your number. First downs, total first downs, 215. Rushing first downs, they have 53. Passing first downs, they have 137. I would love to see those rushing touchdowns be a little bit higher. And this is where they struggle. And I think this is where there's going to be a bit of a battle for the Colorado Buffaloes in this game and going forward. It's their third down efficiency. If you look at their conversions on third down, they're converting at 41.22%. Fourth down conversions are even better, right? Even though these are higher risk situations, we want to get better in this game. Talk about dominating. If we could see a number north of 70% conversions on third down, that means we're absolutely dominating. That is what a dominant performance looks like, and we haven't proven that yet. Now, we've dominated in a couple of games. So Arizona was dominant, UCF was dominant. I think Cincinnati was dominant, but it still didn't really impact our ability to convert on third downs. And my feeling is that we usually find ourselves in third and long situations because of a lack of an efficient running game. All right. And Wild Dog says, ideally, CU keeps opponents to 28 or fewer points. Let's see on the defensive side of the ball. Now, where I have no doubts about this team is on the defensive side of the ball. Let's see. Points allowed. First downs, passing, rushing, offense, penalties. Time of possession, 28 minutes. We need to see dominance in the time of possession as well. Yeah, I can't see how many points they're giving up per game, but I don't think that is going to be our issue. It's going to be them blowing us out or putting up a lot of numbers. I think if we can keep a lid on that run game and Jalen Daniels is forced to pass to beat us, I don't think they should score 28 points. I'm going to give you guys my score prediction in just a second. Again, man, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. This is the biggest live. Again, this is our 50th video celebration. We started out with 0 subscribers. We're now over 300 subscribers. We got like 22,000 views in 50 videos, which is absolutely incredible. The watch time is just blowing up. So I really, really appreciate you guys spending your Saturday with me. My guy Wild Dog says boxing is balance, patience, and skill. Break down your opponent with body shots, frustrate them with speed. And we have speed to burn. We have speed on the offensive side of the ball to burn. LaJohntay Wester. Hopefully we see the return of Jimmy Horn. And I think this is not talked about often enough. I feel like games where Shedeur has Jimmy Horn, he plays better. Because like Prime says, just Horn being on the field causes defensive players and coaches to sweat a little bit. They can't really key in on Travis as much if Jimmy, LaJohntay, and Will are also out there. And it gets even worse when you blend in somebody like Draylon Miller and Omarion Miller before he got hurt. So the Colorado Buffaloes have speed to burn at the skill position. I think if we could put it all together with a running game that's very efficient, we should control both the clock and get to 40 points. I think we all love to see the Buffs when their offense scores 40 points or more. All right, let's see. Mind, body, soul connection. Now, I resonate with that title, right? I'm a big mind, body, soul guy. I feel like we shouldn't just follow the Colorado Buffaloes and watch them succeed. I feel like we should take the principles that Prime is applying on that program in terms of transformation and use that to transform our own lives. Like Prime book subtitle says, is winning on and off the field. And I wish you a lot of success, mind, body, soul connection. All right. She says dominant Buffs. I want to see the Buffs dominate. I think that's what we're watching this game for. We're rubbing our hands together to see our boys absolutely ball. And another thing I want to mention, if there was ever a Heisman moment for both Travis and Shedeur, it'll be on this stage. It'll be them in Arrowhead Stadium with a star-studded movie happening on the sideline and these guys going off for their best games of the season. The playoff run is going to be there, but you got to handle business today. You can't look ahead. You can't get caught in the trap game. This is the game where you have to play your best football, and I think these players are going to be prepared to play at a high level. All right, who else we got? Wild Dog. Big 12 has no respect after Texas and OU left. Listen, man, I think when you take all of the Power Four programs, I think they're supposed to represent the top 50 college football programs in the country, basically, right? Some conferences have 12 teams, some conferences have 13 teams, whatever. But you combine the four of them, it should represent like the top 50 college football programs in the country. And I don't know where I hear this. I love to give people their credit. So I heard this somewhere. This is not me. But what somebody was trying to say is that usually the top team in the Big 12 is about like the number 15 or 16th best team in the country. So even though the dominant media narrative is to say, oh, well, it's to discredit the Big 12, you're still watching or playing against a top 50 program in the country, except for the ones that just absolutely fall off the map and are having abysmal seasons. But that can happen to anybody. So we're still looking at a top 50 conference when you stack all the teams together. If Big 12 teams were playing other teams outside of the top 50, the implication that that person was trying to say is that Big 12 team would beat anybody outside of the top 50. So it's not the greatest conference. We know that. The SEC, I think, is number one, followed by the Big 10, and then maybe the ACC. But I think you could take some teams in the Big 12 to the ACC, and they could be in the top three, including Colorado. So I wouldn't sleep totally on the Big 12, but I get what people are saying about the Big 12 losing respect without Texas and OU. Those are venerable programs, and they're all the respect is due to them. And I think they shifted out and went to the SEC because they wanted that level of competition, and that when they do win a championship or they do make a run, they have that legitimacy. And the power of the SEC and the Big Ten is so powerful that they got such a great deal with the playoff system, right? Not only are there conference champions in the playoff, but they will see multiple teams from that conference as part of that 12-team playoff. So that's just the power of strength of schedule. Now, the one thing I will say, though, there are a lot of teams in the SEC and the Big Ten that get away with playing weak schedules, but benefit from maybe having 1, 2, or 3 top 25 matchups in the season. It's not like they're playing top 10 teams or top 25 teams every single game. They're playing some tough teams, but they still have room in their schedule where they're playing inferior opponents. So it's not 100% either. But I respect what you're saying, Wild Dog. All right, now, Hip Hop News Source. Is Jimmy Horn playing because Travis going to need him today? I think Prime needs him. I think Shedeur needs him. I think this team needs him. And he needs it, right? I don't think he could miss too many more games this season. And it's unavoidable if you have an injury. Don't risk your career over a single game. But as Prime described Keaton Wade as a now player, I think Jimmy Horn is a now player. All right. He's a guy that when he plays and plays well, Colorado plays better and is more likely to win. So I think he needs this game as much as the team and the other players need him. I think he needs more film out there to continue to make his case that he should be playing on Sundays in the NFL. All right. BW Will. The thing is, CU throws too many on first down. That's what I would say. That's my personal opinion too. However, CU is not a great running team on first down either. So I guess my question to you is, BW Will, would you just take either 1 or 2 yards on first down and improve that percentage just to create more balance on first down? Even though you might not be having the success as much as you would, and take the ball out of the hands of Shedeur, who could make a play on first down. What are your thoughts on that? And to the entire chat, what are your thoughts on that as well? All right, Mind Body Soul Connection gave me 4 hearts. I appreciate that. Shirley Kimball, hello everyone, go Buffs. Big shout out to you. And then, man, I got to watch this person in the chat. That name is wild. That name is wild. All right. And then Mind, Body, Soul Connection. So true. I appreciate all of you guys being here, spending your Saturday with me. We are officially less than an hour away from kickoff. Go ahead and put your score predictions in the chat. I would love to hear it. Let me take a quick break. Hit that subscribe, hit that like if you haven't already. And then I'm going to dig into my matchups real quick. All right, y'all. So let me see what else I want to talk about today. What do you guys think about this matchup between Travis Hunter and Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson in the secondary of Kansas? What do you think about our wide receivers matching up against two guys on the corner who are going to be playing on Sundays in Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson? I'm going to look at their statistics right now and tell you what we have to look forward to. Now, this was the promised matchup that we were supposed to see when we played Arizona, right? It was supposed to be Travis against McMillan. You know, a high first-round draft pick at receiver and probably the number one draft pick at corner in Travis Hunter. We didn't even need to see that because there's so much depth. Travis was hurt, so we really didn't get to see that primetime matchup between those two players who are going to play again against each other on Sundays. Colton Hood filled in and absolutely shut him down and had an interception in that game. So the Buffaloes have depth. But there's going to be a very interesting matchup happening in the pass game between our wide receivers and the Kansas Jayhawks secondary. Let me go ahead and pull up Travis's stats first. So this is absolutely crazy. Travis Hunter leads the Colorado Buffaloes with 911 yards. This man is about to surpass 1,000 yards receiving, and he missed I think either one complete game or 1.5 games or 2 games. You guys let me know in the chat. He hasn't even played a full season yet, and he already has 911 yards receiving. Let's go down to his statistics so these Kansas Jayhawks can see what they're up against in terms of this wide receiver core from Colorado. First off, I think Kobe Bryant is going to be matched up with Travis Hunter. Kobe Bryant is their best cover guy. Travis Hunter has 74 receptions, 911 yards, averaging 12 yards per catch, 46-yard long, and 9 touchdowns, leading the team in both in all categories. It looked well except average and maybe the long. So yeah, 74. He leads in receptions, he leads in yards, and he leads in touchdowns. What do you guys think? Do you think Kobe Bryant can handle Travis Hunter? I think he's going to have problems with Travis all day. I think he is going to make some plays because he's a good player, but I don't see him shutting down Travis. And I think Travis, again, understands the stage that he's on, playing in Arrowhead Stadium, and the opportunity to really seal the deal as the Heisman front runner by having impact in this game on both sides of the ball. So that's going to be great. Travis is followed in receptions by LaJohntay Wester, who's deadly in the slot. Now, if there's any weakness in this secondary, if they really have shut down corners on the edges, it's in the nickel spot, and that person's going to have a long day. We'll look at Kansas's secondary here in just a second. But LaJohntay Wester is going to be a problem in this game. He is my sleeper pick. And he's not much of a sleeper, right? People should know about him, but I just think on where he's going to be positioned in this game in the slot, he'll have an opportunity to make lots and lots of plays. So he has 660 yards receiving. Now, he's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's a 100 reception, 1,000-yard receiver from his time at FAU. He came to the Buffs, and because there's so many weapons, he's underperforming, if that is even possible, right? What he did in the previous season, 660 yards, and he's deadly in the slot. He's sure hands. If you throw it anywhere near him, you know he's going to come down with it, even if it's in traffic. So I expect that he's going to have a big game. They're also going to have to deal with Will Shepherd, especially Will Shepherd in the red zone, which is a problem. 6'3", 200-plus pounder, and he's making the big catches when it matters now. I think his confidence was a little bit He needed to get his legs under him. He needed to believe. He needed to know he could go out there and play at the same level that he played at Vanderbilt. So, yeah, it's 40 receptions, 540 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Again, this is another example of Shedeur spreading the ball around. And then, of course, Jimmy Horn. He has 33 receptions, 434 yards, and he's missed 2 games, I think. Or he missed, most of Texas Tech, and he definitely missed Utah last week. And he has a 69-yard touchdown. So Jimmy Horn is a guy, if he gets over the top on you, he's going to take it to the house. He has speed for days, and he's also deadly in the return game. So we have LaJohntay and Jimmy Horn at receiver and in the return game, and it's going to be a problem if they're both on the field. So this is what Kansas's secondary is going to be dealing with. And let me not forget the outstanding freshman Draylon Miller, 25 receptions, the Deebo Samuels of the team, 25 receptions, 18 yards. He had his biggest game against Utah last week, over 100 yards receiving, and he has 2 touchdowns. So big up to Draylon Miller. Very interested in seeing how they use him in this game, both in the run and in the pass. And we definitely miss old Miller, man. Can't wait for that boy to be back next year. Talk about a wide receiver room. Let me take a pause real quick and project out into the future. So we get JuJu Lewis. All right. Let's look at this receiver room. And probably part of his recruiting is Prime and Jason Phillips and Pat Shurmur telling him the weapons he's going to have to work with in that wide receiver room. As a quarterback, you have to be excited. So Travis is gone. LaJohntay Wester is going to be gone. Will Sheppard will be gone. And Jimmy Horn will be gone. But here's what's both coming and what's going to be left in this room. Before I do that, let me acknowledge my people in the chat. Mind, Body, Soul Connection says, so true. BWA will want to see what the D got. Yeah, man. This defense is outstanding. I want to see what they have as well. Score prediction from Mind, Body, Soul Connection, 49-27. Damn, that's a blowout. They're going to give them a 50-piece. I love to see them put a 50-piece nugget on this game. All right, we're now down to officially 50 minutes before kickoff. I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. I can't wait for this game to come on. All right, he says, Mind, Body, Soul Connection says, you're doing such an amazing job or awesome job. Thank you. Bringing up all the topics I'm pondering today. Yes, Travis is going to have to shut it down today, and he will. I believe that too. All right, y'all. So we're projecting out 2025. JuJu Lewis is competing for the starting quarterback, but who's competing to be the starting wide receivers next year? So I have on the outside replacing Travis, Amarion Miller. I have O. Miller as wide receiver 1. Sure hands. He would have been in the system for 3 years. He's a big game player. He doesn't seem to play differently per opponent. He could play against the best corner out there. He's going to be going against some of the best corners in the entire country. He has been. He will continue to be. And I take him, right? The issue, I don't even think it's an issue, is retention. How do you keep a player like Amarion Miller, who's waited his turn for 2 years? He's going to be a junior, right? Next year, he has to be your number 1 wide receiver. That's how you keep a guy like that, right? That's how you keep him out of the transfer portal. I have him as wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2 on the opposite side, I have as Draylon Miller, right? Draylon Miller has proven this year that he's ready to play right now. In fact, he's playing right now, and he's having an impact. As far as who's going to play in the slot or what the other opportunities are, now, maybe somebody who might move Draylon over to the slot is Cardell. What's Cardell's last name? C5. Y'all let me know. Because he could be the Will Sheppard replacement, because really, is Travis on the outside, Will Sheppard on the outside, and they're loving the jump balls to the outside wide receiver. Do we think C5 is the other wide receiver versus on the opposite side of Amarion Miller? Y'all let me know in the chat. It could be C5. It could be Draylon. Draylon could be in the slot. But don't sleep. Another guy I'm very, very interested in seeing play is Cam Michael, the 4-star athlete who's currently hurt out of Georgia. And, there was like some practice film of him on Well Off Media, and they were asking him about his speed. And he says he blurs ish. He's so fast on film that he looks like a blur. And that's literal. If you guys want to search on YouTube for Cam Michael's high school highlights, you will see that this kid is a blur. So he played quarterback in high school. He played some defense as well. But he is truly a blur. So imagine him in a return game or in the slot. And so here's what JuJu Lewis might have to work with. Omarion Miller, C5, Draylon Miller, and Cam Michael. But oh, wait, we got some dog wide receivers coming in this wide receiver room as well. And so let's look at Colorado wide receiver commits right now out of high school. Are y'all enjoying the live? Let me know. Let me know if you're enjoying the live right now. All right, let's see. 2024 ESPN top recruits 247. While I look this up, give me a second, people. I'm freestyling here, so if I don't get to the content quickly enough, please don't drop off. I'm gonna be I didn't put the Buffaloes in there. It gave me all the stats for the entire. So this is from Colorado Rivals. I want 2025. I know one of them is Quanell Farrakhan, I believe. 4-star wide receiver. 4-star wide receiver. Okay, here we go. This is 247 Sports Colorado 2025 football commits. Appreciate you guys hanging in while I get this information. So you can't call me a liar. This is on the internet. All right. So Colorado 2025 football commits. We have the 66th overall ranked class right now. At the very top, hard commit, Julian Lewis. We already talked about him. Chauncey Gooden. All right. And we need to reload on this offensive line as well. So it's great that we're getting offensive linemen out of high school. 6'4", 320, 4-star. But let's talk about the wide receivers that are coming in. So Adrian Wilson, 4-star wide receiver out of Pflugerville, Texas. I love it. If you're from Pflugerville, please tell me how to pronounce that correctly. Committed back in October. I think we flipped him from somebody. I'm not quite sure who. But at his position, he's the 35th best player, and he's the 39th best player in the state of Texas. Quanell X Farrakhan out of Houston, Texas. 5'11", 185 pounds. He's the number 38 wide receiver and the number 42 player in the state. Look how close these guys are. Right? Quanell is the bigger wide receiver in terms of size, weight. And Adrian Wilson is the taller wide receiver, but still great weapons. And I'm sure Julian Lewis is going to be happy to have those guys. So the recruiting continues. We know the dam might break after this Julian Lewis commitment, but that wide receiver room is going to be scary. All right, let me stop sharing. Let me go back to my breakdown. I really appreciate you guys hanging there in with me. I am working this thing out right now. All right, so back to sharing. So we got Travis Hunter, okay? So now we're going to flip over to the opposite side and look at Kansas's. We're going to look at Kansas for a second. And look at their and do a little player profile on Kobe Bryant, who's going to probably be matched up against Travis Hunter. All right, here's Kobe Bryant. Where's number 2? He is a senior, so this is his last year. He's definitely going to the NFL. He's 6 foot tall, 175 pounds, out of Evergreen, Alabama. 23 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 4 interceptions, and 4 pass deflections. So 4 interceptions on the season. We'll look at Travis's interception number. I think Travis might have 3 interceptions. But this is Kobe Bryant. So he's a dog. 32 total tackles, 23 solo, 9 assists. He has a half a sack, so maybe they blitzed him once this year. Maybe the corner blitz is something that we have to watch out for, because he has a sack here in 2023 as well. So that's interesting. They will bring the corner on the blitz, something to watch out for in this game. He had 4 interceptions so far this season. He had a total of 4 interceptions last year. 4 pass deflections, etc. It looks like the longest caught on him this season. Is it 21 yards? I don't know. You guys let me know. All right, so Kobe Bryant is going to be matched up against Travis Hunter. And then I think Mello Dotson is the corner on the other side. He will also be playing on Saturdays. I don't know if these are first rounders or maybe high second rounders. But Mello Dotson wears number 3. He's a senior, 6 foot 190 pounds. So he has some size on him already in college, out of Daytona Beach, Florida. Probably leads the team in interceptions with 5 pass deflections. So he's playing out of his mind. He has a forced fumble as well and 33 solo tackles. So maybe teams tend to stay away from Kobe Bryant, which gives Mello Dotson more opportunities to make plays, because he certainly has made plays this season. Let's look at his numbers. 41 total tackles, 33 solo, 8 assists. Again, 5 interceptions. He's very consistent. Last year, he played very well. Also had 4 interceptions as well. But let's see who's in the slot. You can't really tell here who plays slot for Kansas. Do you guys know who's going to be in the slot matched up against LaJohntay Wester? If you do, please let me know. All right, so we're winding down the live now to get ready for the game, which is going to kick off here in about 39 minutes. I'm going to get to a few other things I want to cover here real quick, which is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. So let's look at the Colorado defense and who needs to play very well in order for us to come away with the victory this game. Who do you think needs to play well for the Colorado Buffaloes to win this game against Kansas? I think it's going to be our front 7. All right. I think it's going to be our front 7. Starting with the guy with the green dot, and that's Nakai Hill-Green, and that second level between him and Bentley, and keeping Neal and Daniels in check in the run game. Let's go here. So Nakai Hill-Green leads all tacklers for the Colorado Buffaloes with 46 total tackles, 27 assist tackles. He has 2 sacks. And what I love about him, and because he's a former safety, he's getting into zone and playing in coverage, and he has 2 interceptions, including 1 last week. Cameron Silman-Craig needs to play out of his mind, out of that safety spot. They're going to bring him in the box in run support. I love just the dog mentality he has. I love the fact that he comes to every game ready to play hard and make an impact. And Prime has said it. Cameron Silman-Craig is the leader of that defense. From the very first whistle, Cam is playing hard. From that very first whistle, Cam is fired up, and I love to see it. All right, real quick in the chat, Mind, Body, Soul Connection said yes. I got a couple people voting for C5 starting as the wide receiver opposite to Omarion Miller on the outside as a Will Shepherd replacement. Love to see it. In my opinion, welcome to the chat, man. He says line 2.5. We just need to do what we do. Okay, so I think in my opinion, it's talking about the betting line there being 2.5 points. Do we think that the Colorado Buffaloes can cover? Well, if you hear the prediction from Mind, Body, Soul Connection, it's going to be 49-27. So 2.5 points is not going to be a problem to cover. But again, the odds makers, the gambling folks know a little something about football, and I think they're giving the edge to Colorado, but they still see Kansas as a very dangerous team coming off of 2 top 25 wins. Remember, guys, Kansas just beat BYU, who were undefeated until that game. And prior to that, they beat Iowa State. So this is a dangerous Kansas team. I don't just want to be throwing numbers out there, guys. We got to be ready to play against this team because they're hungry. They got a point to prove, and they have some momentum at their back. But I don't think they're going to be able to withstand the barrage, especially since our defense continues to play better every single game. All right, in my opinion, asks, is Jimmy Horn back? I think Prime is doing everything he can to make sure that Jimmy plays this game if he's healthy. Keyword, if he's healthy. I don't think he's going to risk that man's career in order just to get him some playing time. But he says it time and time again that when Jimmy Horn is on the field, defenses pay attention. All right, the mind, body, soul connection, man. I have to go on my Friendsgiving. Really enjoyed your live. I'm definitely tuning in. Go Buffs. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Hey, man, mind, body, soul connection. You already have a beautiful spirit. Just experiencing your interaction in the chat. I feel that. So go enjoy your Friendsgiving, man. Sneak watch the game, right, on your Fox Sports app. Hopefully you're tuned in. You're having an opportunity to watch this game. It's going to be a good one. In my opinion, says I do. Big shout out to you. You do think they're going to cover, right? I think they're going to cover as well. So that's a safe bet. I'm not a betting guy, but for you betting people, I think they're going to cover. All right, let's continue on the defensive side of the ball. So they're going to want to run the ball. Let's look at our defensive front, who are absolutely playing out of their mind. Arden Walker, I project, is going to have a big game. Off of the edge, if we stop the run, we have the advantage. If we force Jalen Daniels to try to beat us with his arm, I think the edge rushers on the Colorado Buffaloes team are going to eat today. Arden Walker is going to be one of them. So let's look. Oh, this doesn't travel. Come on, ESPN. We're going to need the header here to travel down. I don't need to scroll up every time I want to see what I'm talking about. All right, so 22 tackles. Let's look at the sack numbers. 3.5 sacks. I think BJ Green leads all defensive players with sacks with 5.5 sacks. Amari McNeil, 3.5 sacks. Samuel Okolola, 3 sacks. Chidozie Nwankwo, 1 sack. The block bully, that's my guy. Shane Cokes is injured right now, but he has 1 sack. Dayon Hayes is injured as well. I haven't seen him since like game 2 or 3 of the season. I think he hasn't been playing. He has 2 sacks on the year. Very highly touted recruit. I wonder what's going on with him. Tajay McCoy, who always comes in and makes an impact. He has 3 sacks on the year. Taufik Thomas, who continues to play his best football. And I feel like he's one of those guys who has a lot of upside, but the coaches just need to stay on him. If you ever watch Well Off Media and you see Sapp and D-Lou and Dancy, Taufik is taking a lot of reps because they want to make sure he gets it right because he's now getting some real time in the game. And with Shane Cokes being out, I think he's backing up Amari McNeil and Chidozie Nwankwo along with Anquin Barnes. So Big Barnes, no sacks on the season, but he is a force in the middle. He's hard to move, and part of the reason why we're playing so well against the run. So big shout out to those guys. And, of course, Keaton Wade is playing out of his mind. And I think he's the player who's received one of the best compliments I've heard from Coach Prime. Originally, the plan for Keaton Wade was for him to redshirt because he had been injured most of the season and just started playing. I think the first game he played was Arizona, where he had 2 sacks in his first game playing. And he's just been absolutely playing out of his mind. And what Coach Prime said about Keaton Wade was he has outplayed his plans. And guys, when I tell you that I literally take this Colorado Buffalo stuff seriously, and Prime saying that you not only want to win on the field, you want to win off the field. And I'm taking a lot of his principles and applying it to my life and success and building this channel, et cetera, et cetera. Don't you want somebody to say of you, right? Maybe the higher power, the creator, etc., to say of you that in this life, you outplayed your plans. Isn't that such a good place for everybody to want to be, to strive for, to work toward? I'm not just watching this team win, man. I'm applying these principles to my life, and I wish that for you as well. All right. I want you to be out there outplaying your plans. And so that's so great to hear from Keaton Wade because this team is on a playoff run. They are making a run for the playoffs. I'm saying it right now. And they need a guy like Keaton Wade on the team to make plays when they matter. And so they need him. I don't think he's burning a red shirt here, even though he didn't play a full season. I think he's actually increasing his draft stock for every game that he plays and continues to make plays. All right. So any opinions? What do you guys think in the chat? What do you think about Keaton Wade? What do you think about that defensive front and how they're playing? What do you think about Rob Livingston as our defensive coordinator? All right, man, we're almost 30 minutes away from kickoff. I appreciate you guys for being here, man. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that share. I'm loving what I'm seeing in the chat. I appreciate all you guys participating. So I think our defense goes in there and we stop the run. Under 100 yards rushing this game. Devin Neal may or may not get his 1,000-yard season against us, but I think we shut him down, right? I have Kansas with less than 100 yards rushing in this game. I have Jalen Daniels with 2 turnovers, whether it comes on a fumble or whether it comes from an interception. I have him with 2 turnovers. I have Shedeur having a Heisman-like day. I have him with over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, which he's done multiple times this season. The combination of Isaiah Augusta, Micah Welsh, and maybe a sprinkle of Dallin Hayden gets us over 150 yards rushing. I think we're dominant on the defensive side of the ball. I think we see big hits coming from that linebacker, that second level of the defense. I want to see Nakai Hill continue to play the kind of ball he's playing and continue to raise his draft stock. I think our secondary is going to be ready to shut down Kansas. There's not much that they have to bring to the table on the outside. I mean, their best wide receiver, I'll just take a look at him here out of respect, because you have to respect your opponent, is Grimm. I think he's their leading wide receiver and really the guy that we need to pay attention to. Let's see, Luke Grimm. So he's 44 receptions, 582 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's averaging 13 yards per catch. I think you're going to see Travis Hunter against him, but I don't think Travis really needs to follow this guy across the field. We have DJ McKinney. We have Colton Hood. We got a couple of players that can play in coverage against this guy, including another player who's playing out of his mind is Carter Stoutmeyer. Guys, what do you think about Carter Stoutmeyer playing that nickel position and playing safety? I mean, the fact that they have so many talented people in the secondary and their rotation just feels how they're being used, right? How they're using Colton Hood strategically, how they're using Carter Stoutmeyer strategically, and of course Shiloh, one of the most experienced players in the secondary, coming up and making big plays. I think this secondary is going to play very, very well against this Kansas Jayhawk passing attack. Now, one of the issues that we have had, though, in passing is with the tight end. So I don't want to overlook that. Let's see what they have in terms of their tight end room. I don't even know who the starter is. No, it can't be him. Yeah, I don't know who the tight end is. But we've had issues with tight ends, but I think somebody like Carter Stoutmeyer or Colton Hood in the slot should keep a clamp on trying to get the tight end involved in the pass game against the Colorado Buffaloes. All right. With all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me on this live. I got to go get ready for the game. Let's go with my prediction, and then I got to hop off. My prediction right now, I have the Colorado Buffaloes winning this game 34-17 against the Kansas Jayhawks in a very dominant performance. We're going to dominate on all sides of the ball, including special teams and time of possession. All right, y'all. I hate to dip on y'all like that, but I got to, man. I've been on for a minute. I got to go get ready for this game. I might jump on TLP Sports Club live and do some live commentary. Please hit that like, subscribe, and share. If you had a good time, man, let me know. But welcome to the Common Sense Buffs family. We're going to be doing more of this day in and day out. As content drops, please support it. Until next time, peace.